Cool intro sound.
Alright, how's it going guys? Alpha YGO back at it again, and today we got something pretty neat to show off for you guys, and it's a bit weird. I know you guys probably can't even tell what this is except for, maybe the title of the video. But essentially we have DDD over here, and it's a bit of a hybrid build. It's a bit of a, this fun little experiment I just threw together randomly post ban list. You can probably tell, the cool stuff that we've been throwing into the deck. Of course, disclaimer, this is just more of a for fun list. I think right now it's important to have fun with the game and play casual things, play whatever you like. And in this instance, I think DDD is a really fun list as always. And I always like to mix it up and like throw in really compatible things with it. I do gotta say, like, the new Sacred Beast support, the PK stuff, it all melds really well with DDD, and hopefully I'll be able to show that off to you guys. This board right here is essentially what the end goal is trying to aim for. You're trying to aim for, of course, the 2 Fog Blades at minimum with the PK stuff. You want 2 level 8 synchros. You can be, Siegfried Crystal Wing or Burrow Savage Crystal Wing. It doesn't really matter. But I just threw these out here during the midst of this practice run. There was a bit of a mistake here. When I was doing this combo, I thought to myself, oh, this High Genghis should be a D-Arc instead, but I didn't have D-Arc in the extra deck, so I just used them as a proxy. I know proxy on Dueling Book, right? But if it was D-Arc, still same board. But then my friend pointed out, wait, if you just left the High King Genghis and you committed to the Siegfried, you just end on the exact same board, but you'd have the High Genghis on the field itself. So in reality, it's all just the same. This board does come to fruition. Of course, we also have a extra deck block, so essentially, we have a lot of disruptions here. And the main combo of this originates from 2 cards, and this is possible with this portion right here is possible from just opening 2 slimes. So hopefully you guys are, kind of interested already. If you're not, I'm sorry. I'll put out the list sometime later, but for now I'll kind of show off kind of like what the combo does and different routes you can take with it. There's many ways you can go about it, but I think it just depends how you want to build it, how you want to go about it. Also, this combo right here, I'll show it, is at the very end. I'm sorry. I kind of went through and took my time to replay to demonstrate all the different lines and possibilities. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so over here we have basically a really simple 2-card combo. We have Opening of the Spirit Gates and DD Savant Kepler. Now, the synergy between these two can be pretty dang insane. So obviously over here, we search ourselves the Dark Beckoning Beast. Dark Beckoning Beast will be normal, searching ourselves Chaos Summoning Beast, and its effect to additionally normal summon will be used on said Chaos Summoning Beast, and will be putting it away into Link Turbo. Wait, why didn't you just normal summon the Kepler? Well, the reason is here, because of the Spirit Gate here, as you can read over here maybe. And the ruling for this, if I am not mistaken, verified this a couple times, so hopefully I'm not making this up. You are able to summon back the cards you pitch if you already have a legal target in the grave already. So because I have a legal target engraved for this effect, I can use this card's effect to send the Kepler and then summon the Kepler. If I didn't have Chaos Summoning Beast, I would not be able to do this, which is sending the Kepler, especially back out, netting ourselves another gate. Funny how many gates there are in this deck. And of course, with 3 darks in the field, we go into Bardiche, which is absolutely fantastic because this just nets us a bunch of negates already, like 2 negates and a body, which is insane. And I know it might be like, oh, another deck that uses or abuses PK or like and etc etc. Well, first of all, I think every deck can eventually do this with Sacred Beast Engine. Instead of making Curious, you just make Bardiche, which is insane. Just gonna say, I think all the Eldritch decks are gonna end up doing this. So you heard it here, folks. But essentially here, the main purpose in this deck is that it will eat as many hand traps as your opponent probably has. And I mean, they probably don't want to face the Fog Blades, and they probably don't know what your deck is doing because it's just a weird jumbo of DD Sacred Beast. So they're like, what the heck is this? I'm just gonna stop the PK stuff. Essentially, we're gonna then, of course, banish Cloak for Boots. We're gonna use Gate here. And in this case, I'm showing you the bare minimum. I'm saying, like, if you only had these 2 cards in hand, things you can do. And then of course, I'll show you what happens when you have 2 slimes in hand. Random stuff. Like, imagine you sack off the Gate for the Lamia and you special out Boots because you have a Bardiche on the field. You can go like straight into Herald and get yourself a second Fog Blade if you really wanted to. Of course, that's a little too basic for us. So what other options? We have Fiber into DD Ghost. Again, this is just off 2 cards. And imagine abusing Link Cross like a degenerate. And then we go into Metal Marcher. we can go into another Herald, and then obviously I didn't bring back DD Ghost in that situation, but we would just leave extra bodies on the board, and it would just be showing like, oh, like look how many bodies I have on the board to make plays with, right? But of course, another cool thing you can do is like, imagine you get rid of that token to bring out the Linkuriboh from your grave with its own effect, and then you just have 2 Cybers over there for a Union Carrier for the extra deck lock, which is also pretty cool. Or if you wanted to get really weird with it, you could put everything away into an Apollo, and well, I mean, I don't see a purpose of having a 4 negate Apollo with 2 Fog Bleed, but you know, you kind of get the gist of the idea of this, right? And just an FYI, the extra deck here is a little bit like modified just to show up like the different combo lines. I probably wouldn't play some of these cards if I dedicate to one combo line. So don't worry, I'm not running every single one of these cards. I made a couple like cuts in the extra deck that I probably wouldn't normally do. So don't sweat it too much. Alright, so in this case, let's say we have 2 of the slimes in our hands, right? If we open Kepler or even Copernicus would basically work the same as well, if I'm not mistaken, because it's also another 0/0 fiend. So essentially, you know, you have a lot of things that can accompany the Sacred Beast engine, which is really awesome. And because let's say you open Kepler and you get the Gate can already search you one of your missing combo pieces, and you just hope the consistency and the ratios of your deck can just let you see the other combo pieces. Obviously that's the downside of DDD. You want to see those combo pieces, but once you do see them, the combos can be very interesting. So just for like the sake of interest, I'm just going to show off like the most basic DD combo. This is like the old school one where you just go like Alexander, you bring out another low Genghis. You don't even bring out high Genghis for this like OG combo, and you can literally just go like, you fans out there probably already know how this works. And you just end on like what, 2 negates. The Linkuriboh from 1 negate isn't the best, obviously. And obviously in that case you just saw we didn't even get a chance to really use the other Silent Boots in our hand, which is like, man, that's pretty boring. Like we want as many negates as possible. So here we'll show off kind of using everything together at the same time. So let's say you go into Genghis, you can just special out the Lamia with the Swirl Slime, use Genghis right away to bring out Necro, obviously different from the old school combo. And then from here, we can just special Boots because we have a PK monster on the field, obviously. We'll put those 2 into Union Carrier because they're both darks. We can then go into Alexander. Obviously, there's probably room for shenanigans like Needle Fiber here, but let's keep it a little PG here, you know? So we're gonna banish those 2 to bring out a fusion. In this case, I pretended in my head, oh, I just rather make D-Arc so I could do this, but as you can kind of see, the same result would happen. Just as an example here. So on that DD monster's summon, Alexander would trigger bringing back the Lamia. And here, as long as you make Siegfried, then the High King Genghis is okay, because the High King Genghis would have triggered to bring back the Alexander, and then you would just sack off the contract for the Lamia, or the High King Genghis, whichever one, and then you'd make the second level 8 synchro here, right? Obviously, depending on the game state, maybe you want to keep Genghis, maybe you want to keep the Gate. Regardless, if you go High King Genghis, you would probably net a little more advantage. For some reason, I blanked on using him, and I was like, okay, he's a D-Arc now. Essentially, you guys kind of get the gist of it though. Yeah, like I said, I assumed she was a level 7, and made another level 8 synchro, using Union Carrier to attach Buster Lock. You could literally put on either one, but you probably put on Boral Savage because it's the biggest one, and of course you just banish your last PK for a Fog Blade. And yeah, that's kind of the end of how that goes. Hopefully I was pretty clear with my kind of my demo through. Hopefully this has piqued a lot of your guys' interest. It's a really fun list. I wouldn't say it's the most competitive, you know, and I know a lot of diehard fans don't really like mixing DD with other things too often, but let me tell you, the very least, Sacred Beast is a super awesome engine to throw into the deck. The biggest pro of this deck is you want to make sure all the hand traps are kept off of your key pieces. So if they just use all their hand traps to stop the Sacred Beast and PK portion of your deck, then your DDD portion can resolve, and vice versa technically. Either way, you're kind of netting advantage regardless. So that's kind of like my cool little way of, you know, maybe mixing the decks together, and hopefully you guys thought it was pretty cool too. And yeah, let me know what you think of the deck, and hopefully I'll be able to show it off to you guys soon. I'm glad to be back, and I'll talk to you guys later.